Section 2, Nature and Cycle of Real Estate Finance. Unit 3, Real Estate and the Economy. The Nature and Cycle of Real Estate Finance. Study Sheet. Primary mortgage market, local. These are the banks, credit unions, and mortgage companies that provide loans to consumers. Secondary mortgage market, national. The primary market sells loans to generate funds to provide additional loans. Secondary mortgage market players, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Ginnie Mae, etc., purchase loans from local lenders and package and sell them as mortgage-backed securities. Market cycles and other factors affecting property value. Activities in local markets may vary greatly from one another. Local markets are influenced by local events, zoning ordinances, employment trends, etc., as well as national and international activities, economic and political events. Real estate cycles. Expansion. Companies are hiring, lowering unemployment. More buyers means heavy demand and decreasing supply, so home prices rise. Oversupply, aka hypersupply. Unemployment is low and hiring stabilizes. There are many buyers and lots of new construction with increasing supply, so homes are overvalued. Recession. Unemployment and foreclosures increase and supply is greater than demand, so home prices fall. Recovery. Unemployment stabilizes but remains high, as do foreclosures. Lots of supply means few buyers and home prices are undervalued. Factors affecting real estate cycles. Supply. How many properties are on the market? Supply is usually opposite of price. When supply is high, price is low. When supply is low, price is high. Demand. How many buyers there are for the available properties. Price and demand usually align. When demand is high, so is price. And when demand is low, so is price. Population. When population increases, housing demand usually does, too. Demographics impact supply and demand, and as a result, housing prices. Social considerations. When growth is too slow, the local economy can be negatively impacted. When growth is too fast, infrastructure may not be able to support it. When growth is dependent on one industry or employer, the community may overbuild and be left holding the bag if the employer leaves. Tax issues. Tax rules can indirectly influence the buying habits of property owners and investors. Raising taxes and establishing moratoriums can slow or discourage growth. Tax incentives can be used to encourage local employers to move to town. More employers equals more growth, higher local employment rates, more consumers, and an increased demand for real estate. Taxpayer relief acts can stimulate the economy and local market. Property value fluctuations. Local and national markets. Zoning, environmental regulations, building standards, political events, economic events, and employment trends all influence real estate. The local real estate industry is largely dependent upon national market conditions. These topics haven't been specifically identified on the candidate bulletin, and may or may not appear on the licensing exam. They will appear on your final exam, however. The importance of real estate. Planning, construction, buying/selling, moving, and living are the 5 new home construction phases or activities that impact the economy. Construction of new homes has a tremendous effect on the economy, and a slowdown is a leading indicator that an overall economic slowdown may occur. Real estate finance terms. Disintermediation, when bank deposits are less than bank withdrawals. Collateral, property pledged when obtaining a loan. Hypothecation, borrower is legal owner and has the right to possess and control the property, lender has the right to foreclose after a loan default. Equitable title, the borrower's interest in a mortgaged property. Leverage, controlling a large investment with a small amount of funds. The 2007 to 2008 financial crisis. There were more subprime, higher risk, mortgages and underwater homes. Unemployment led to increased foreclosures. Acts introduced to stimulate the economy. ORRA, American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. HAMP, Home Affordable Modification Program. HARP, Home Affordable Refinance Program. Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act, Dodd-Frank, included the establishment of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB. Economic information resources. Banking and insurance analysts. Information provided, underwriting standards. How a licensee can use the information. By understanding what the lenders will be looking for to approve loans, you can better prepare your buyers to qualify for financing. Bond rating agencies and analysts. Information provided, mortgage-backed security information. How a licensee can use the information.
Unit 4.
This is helpful data for any investors you work with, but don't put yourself in the position of providing financial advice. Real Estate Investment Trust, REIT, analysis. Information provided, commercial real estate information. How a licensee can use the information. Many REITs focus on commercial investments. If you work with investors, get to know a REIT analyst. Fannie Mae. www.fanniemae.com. Information provided, housing and mortgage information for consumers, business resources for mortgage professionals. How a licensee can use the information. Fannie Mae works in the secondary mortgage market. Its standards set the stage for lender requirements. If Fannie won't buy a loan, lenders who depend on FNMA to resell won't underwrite it. Federal Housing Finance Agency. www.fhfa.gov. Information provided, economic data about mortgage market activity, including the house price index and reports on refinancing and foreclosures. How a licensee can use the information, a great indicator for how the housing market is doing as a whole, and you can use this to compare against your own market. Freddie Mac. www.freddiemac.com. Information provided, housing and economic related research. How a licensee can use the information, a great indicator for how the housing market is doing as a whole, and you can use this to compare against your own market. Ginnie Mae. www.ginniemay.gov. Information provided, consumer educational resources about Ginnie Mae's role in financing. How a licensee can use the information. It's good to understand Ginnie Mae's role so you can explain it to consumers if asked. Internal Revenue Service. www.irs.gov. Information provided, tax-related rules that impact homeowners and taxpayers. How a licensee can use the information. Because taxes impact affordability, staying on top of tax incentives for homeownership can help you close more deals. RealtyTrack. www.realtytrack.com. Information provided, real estate market and foreclosure trends, as well as home search capabilities. How a licensee can use the information. This is a good resource for searching for properties, keeping your finger on the pulse of the industry, and coming up with topics you can use for marketing. No plagiarizing. U.S. Census Bureau. www.census.gov. Information provided, data on population, housing, and the economy. How a licensee can use the information. This can help you spot trends that you can use for marketing and on behalf of your clients and investors.